Be nonchalant. It's the most misunderstood and most feared trait in a world addicted to noise. Because in a society where everyone is screaming to be seen, the man who stays quiet becomes a mystery. And what people can't understand, they can't control. Nonchalance isn't apathy. It's not about not caring. It's about caring with precision. It's control. It's power disguised as calm. It's confidence that doesn't have to prove itself. The man who doesn't react owns the room. You don't see him flinch. You don't see him explain. He gives nothing away, and that nothing becomes the most unsettling thing in the room. Ask yourself this: why do we fear people who show no need? Why does it disturb us when someone refuses to chase, to defend, to respond? Because we're used to noise. We're used to reactions. And when someone chooses to stay still while others panic, our instincts tell us, he knows something we don't. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He said a ruler must appear composed even when surrounded by chaos, because power is about perception. If they see your hunger, they'll feed you crumbs. If they see your fear, they'll test your limits. If they see your desperation, they'll own you. But when they see nothing, no urgency in your voice, no tension in your jaw, no panic in your silence, what they see instead is strength. And they begin to second-guess themselves. Nonchalance is the sharpest mask a man can wear. It is not born from arrogance. It is born from clarity. The nonchalant man doesn't react, not because he doesn't feel, but because he disciplines what is felt. He doesn't hide emotion by default. He filters it through intent. Every move is calculated. Every pause is designed. While others over-explain, overshare, overreach, he observes. While others speak first and regret later, he waits. And that wait makes him unpredictable. That silence makes him dangerous. They ask themselves, why isn't he reacting? Why doesn't he chase? What does he know? And in that confusion, he gains the upper hand without lifting a finger. You don't have to prove anything when people already assume you don't need their approval. You become the question they can't answer, the puzzle they can't solve. Nonchalance is about control, not over them, but over yourself. It's refusing to dance to the rhythm others try to impose. It's not being cold, it's being strategic. Emotional restraint is a superpower. It's the ability to look directly at chaos and say, you don't get a reaction out of me today. The more others talk, the less you say. The more they try to predict you, the more they reveal themselves. And in that space, you dominate, not through force, but through mystery. That's why the nonchalant man doesn't beg for respect. He radiates it. He moves like time is on his side. He listens more than he speaks. And when he does speak, people lean in, not because he shouts, but because he doesn't have to. In a room full of voices, silence becomes the loudest authority. In a world addicted to speed, patience is power. And in a culture of constant display, composure becomes rare, and rare is valuable. If they can't read you, they can't control you. If they can't predict you, they can't prepare for you. And if they can't access your emotions, they can't exploit them. You're not cold. You're not numb. You're collected. Let them misjudge you. Let them call you arrogant. Let them whisper that you're too quiet or too calm. That's just noise from people who haven't mastered themselves. Because when you walk into a room without needing attention, and yet the room turns toward you, that's presence. When your silence creates tension and your restraint builds gravity, that's dominance. And it's not something you can fake. You earn it. You train it. You build it by learning to pause, to detach, to wait. The nonchalant man holds space without trying. He isn't trying to win the room. He owns it by simply not needing to. He doesn't chase attention. He lets attention chase him. He doesn't perform power. He is power wrapped in silence, sharpened by discipline. Every moment he chooses not to react, he gains control. Every silence he lets linger becomes a mirror where others reveal themselves. You'll see it happen. The overtalker starts second-guessing. The manipulator backs off. The loudest ego in the room suddenly quiets down because stillness exposes insecurity faster than any confrontation ever could. That's why restraint is more effective than resistance. Reaction is what they want. Restraint is what unnerves them. They want to provoke. They want to decode. They want access. But the nonchalant man is a locked vault, polished on the outside, impenetrable within. He lets others think they have the upper hand, until they realize he's been leading the dynamic in silence the entire time. Nonchalance is not passive, it's active silence, strategic invisibility. It's the decision to never give your energy away cheaply. Most people throw their emotions around like small change. Validation here, a reaction there, begging to be understood, begging to be seen. But not you. You're done playing the part of the predictable. You speak when silence has served its purpose. You move when stillness has done its job. You reveal nothing until it's already too late for them to use it against you. That's how presence becomes your weapon. Because in a world that demands transparency, mystery becomes dominance. And when everyone is showing their cards, the man who holds his hand becomes the one they all fear. The truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Not for your silence, not for your detachment, not for your control. Let others perform. Let them explain their every move, justify every emotion, seek sympathy for every slight. You observe, you refine, you vanish when needed, you reappear when it serves. You let the world guess what you're thinking, because the moment they know they'll use it, you've moved beyond the need to convince anyone. Because when you stop proving, you start commanding. When you stop reacting, you start leading. And when you stop needing, you become magnetic. The paradox is this: the less you chase, the more they come. The less you speak, the more they listen. The less you reveal, the more they obsess. Because the unknown is powerful, and the man who holds it becomes a gravity they cannot resist. You don't become nonchalant by accident. You become nonchalant by design. It's built in silence, forged in restraint, sharpened through every moment you wanted to speak, but didn't. Every urge you wanted to satisfy, but mastered. Every situation that pulled at your emotions and failed. That is your evolution. Not to show strength, but to become so still that your strength becomes self-evident. You don't need to explain why you didn't react. They already felt it. You don't need to tell them you're in control. They already adjusted. This is not about arrogance. This is not about ego. This is about emotional sovereignty. Your presence should say, I know who I am. I know what I offer. I know what I'll allow. And nothing you do will shift me off center. Let them misunderstand you. Let them project. Let them fill in the blanks. You're not here to be understood by the crowd. You're here to rule your world quietly, completely, and on your terms. Nonchalance is not a mood. It's not a moment. It's a mindset. It is the final form of emotional control. It is the end of overexposure. It is the silence that rewrites the room. You are not here to chase. You are not here to explain. You are here to watch the world react to you. And that is what makes you unforgettable.